This show was brought to you by our own bonus episode. Click the link in the description to check it out.
What? What? Monkey Jones is gonna break your bones. He knows what he's talking about. He got stats, you know. A homegrown stone cold balls out killer and a no-doubt thriller living in the back of a distillery.
Digi B going green, thinking about life and shit. He's got a big dick, plenty on his mind to spit. So don't doubt his legitimacy. When you see his post, don't think we share and retweet.
Holy shit, everybody! Welcome back to the Insufferable Social Media Argument, the podcast. I'm DigiBro, and I'm joined by...
I am Monkey Jones, here once again on my own channel. Who would have predicted it?
Yeah, I know. How do you keep getting in here?
I don't know. The bouncer is so rude to me, but I just flash my tits at him and he lets me right in.
Last week, we argued about dicks, penises,
right.
cocks... all kinds of male genitalia.
Hey, I got a few comments about that, did you?
I've got a ton.
Really?
This comment section justified this entire podcast. It may have justified my whole existence on the internet.
Wow.
This was one of my favorite comment sections I've ever read in my life. You want to start us off,
No,
though?
it sounds like you're enthusiastic about it. You do it. I don't want to steal your comments on accident.
All right, first comment that I absolutely loved, because you'll remember on the last show, I encouraged everybody to measure their dicks with an actual ruler, because so many people think that they know the length of their dick, but they don't. You think you do because you've used all these other measurement techniques. Just use a ruler. From a comment from Jamie Stevenson. Holy shit, Digi, I did it. I thought I was small, but I got 6 inches. Fucking yes.
You did it, did you? You changed his life for the better.
Oh, that's not even the beginning of me changing people's lives.
I got
Monkey.
a few comments like that, too.
I've got ADX Alcatraz. Holy shit, I didn't even know I was circumcised until this video. My life is turned upside down.
We got about 20 comments of people who didn't realize they had phimosis until you talked about it.
Yeah, amazing. I don't know, maybe all of them are somehow drawn to this podcast, because this is a pretty rare condition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got I Eat Battery 7. This podcast made me realize that I have phimosis.
Yeah, Mushy2626. Digi just blew my mind. I had no idea I had phimosis until now. Thanks, my dude. He's thanking you. He's so happy you gave him this information.
I've got that guy saved as well. I just hit like on any comment I wanted to save. That was my method this time.
Brilliant.
It was so beautiful. I couldn't believe I could bring such arcane knowledge to the world.
We also got a few comments saying that perhaps that segment went a bit too far because they had trouble eating and sleeping that night because it was so disgusting.
You have any other comments? I've got one, but I don't. Oh, I've got a Void. Shit, I have phimosis as well. You've given me the same revelation. I've got one to read once we get into the Who Won.
Well, there's one more. We talked about how you guest starred on the Dick Show last week.
Yes. I know what comment you're talking about.
Yeah. This guy Avery Beavers said, I was introduced to both your guys' works from The Dick Show. Have to say, after watching all of Monkey's and Digi's videos from 2016 onward, you guys are amazing. Which kind of blew my mind, because he watched all of both of our content in 3 days? That doesn't make any sense.
He clearly, maybe he hasn't been to DigiBro After Dark. He said he hasn't, admittedly, not that much of Digi stuff, mostly Monkey.
Well,
in his response, but...
Can't blame him.
It'd be literally physically impossible to watch everything I posted from 2016 onwards in 3 days. Anyway, you want to get into who won, who lost?
No, I think we can skip that segment this week. I think that's okay.
Let's see.
Digi, the show last week went an hour and 17 minutes, so I think we need to make some cuts, and I think the Who Won segment could probably, go to the wayside.
I think our audience will be curious to know.
They're probably bi-curious after hearing about how hot your dick looks. We could talk about that instead if you want.
Circumcision, good or bad? The winner was not circumcision is good, which I believe was my argument. Yours was that circumcision is bad.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that was a rip-off of my argument, so I'm surprised that they voted for that one.
Oh, you're worried about the vote being a rip-off of somebody else's vote, Monkey, after last week?
What does that have to do with anything? What do you mean?
What's the best thing to stick your dick in?
Yeah, I brought in Great White Shark.
Yes, the winner was Great White Shark.
Yeah.
Over Electrical Hole, which was just copying my idea to stick your dick in something that kills
Whatever.
you.
I came up with Great White Shark and it won. I don't know what you're talking about.
Which race has the best dick?
Uh-oh.
Japanese destroyed Muslim.
You know, I have a feeling the way history's going, the Japanese might actually destroy the Muslims at some point.
And what should be the average dick size, 5.5 inches, 1/4. Nobody wants small dicks, Monkey. I don't know why you thought that would... Did you just assume our audience all has below average dick sizes?
No, I assume they didn't want to get shot in the streets by Elliot Rodger.
Well, he's already dead, so...
Yeah, well, the next Elliot
Lives on our
Rodger
hearts.
only has a 4-inch dick.
So I guess that means I win.
You know, Digi, it's funny that you say that because I actually have a celebrity guest star who has something to say about the voting this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to call her up.
Let's hear it.
Beep, boop, beep, beep. Hello, this is Hillary Rodham Clinton. And I have reason to believe that Russia interfered with the voting here. And there were a lot of uninformed voters, which mean I'm not saying that the American population is full of retarded people just because I lost. I'm just saying I think the Russians tricked people into voting for the wrong candidate. Hey, Hillary! That's a good point. I think we should disregard this vote.
Is that a voicemail or is Hillary on the phone with us? I can't...
No, she's in my room. I had to do beep, boop, boop because she's a robot and I had to turn her on.
Well, Hillary, the thing is that this show broadcasts from a lot more than America, as evidenced by the countless comments we got about how the bonus episode was not available in their country.
Hey, the Russians have influence on countries worldwide, not just America.
Well... I'm afraid, Monkey, that you introduced a segment called Boozer Loser to this show.
I don't remember doing that, but I'll have to take your word for it. I don't listen to this show.
Unfortunately, I didn't look at the voting ahead of time to confirm that I had won, so I didn't come up with a thing for you to do.
It doesn't help that you do. It doesn't help that you do 15 different podcasts and you have to prepare for all of them.
We're gonna get into that in the next segment. So I guess just whatever you've got on you, drink it down in one gulp.
Fuck.
Yeah, if you've got a beer, finish that shit, dog.
I'm actually drinking a remarkably delicious concoction that I came up with on accident. It's a cranberry lemonade mixed with... I went to the ABC store, which is, I guess, in the South. You have to go to a special store to get alcohol. Never seen that before.
Yeah.
But they had a strawberry lemonade flavored vodka that's 35 proof. So I mixed that shit together, and it doesn't taste like alcohol at all. It just tastes like fucking just sweet candy. So it's a very dangerous drink, and I'm very...
Let's see if it maintains that taste when you have to drink an entire glass of it all at once.
I have 2/3 of a glass full, and I guess I have to chug it all right now. So go ahead and entertain them.
I'll chug my beer along with you just for that.
Yeah, that'll be great. Just a minute of silence as we both chug our drinks.
Yeah, well, let's just chug it really loudly and obnoxiously.
Okay, let's go.
God. Too many bubbles.
Fuck.
In my Ducati.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to piss in 2 minutes now.
That's fine, I probably will.
I'm glad that this boozer loser turned into both of us being punished.
Yeah, well, I needed to get drunk. I just started drinking. Let's get right into the fucking slow motion suicide. Digibro and Monkey Jones slow motion suicide, because what's killing me this fucking week, dude, is too many fucking podcasts.
Uh-oh.
Too much work. Somehow, I'm about to move out of my house. I'm trying to find out how to even purchase an RV so I can move into an RV so I can live all over the world. And I'm trying to do that, and I just keep introducing more podcasts. I got 6 different shows I'm on. I got one with you, one with Nate, one with fucking Munchie, one the Procrastinators podcast, which thankfully never needs me.
Yeah.
My own fucking podcasts that I've got to edit. I have about, oh God, Jesus fucking Christ. I've got so much unedited shit on my computer. You came over to my house a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And
no,
we spent,
it was 2 months at this point.
It was in early March, right?
Because we've put
Mid-March.
I put out a weekly show from that visit called Driving Tuesdays, and we've had 7 episodes since then, so it's been 2 months.
Yeah, so you came over, we recorded an assload of shit, mostly your stuff that's all been released.
We did 10 hours worth of Let's Plays that are on your computer.
Yeah, we've got a shitload of Let's Plays. I haven't released any of them yet just because I haven't gotten around to editing them because I keep having more podcasts and more other shit to do. I just put together an album. I just released a short album today because for whatever reason I threw that. And I decided to write a light novel as part of like some weird thing that I did on the other podcast. One of the other I don't even know which one. There's too many. It's killing me. It's tearing me apart. Half of them I have to drink for, so now I'm just drinking constantly. I don't know where I am. I don't know what day it is. Monkey messaged me like 15 minutes ago, like, hey, I'm ready when you are. And I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. So, yeah. I might die of... I don't know what'll kill me first. Will I go blind from the fact that talking makes my eyes hurt? Is that a thing for anybody else? Does that happen to you?
What are you fucking talking about? Close your eyes.
Anytime I do a podcast or a Let's Play that goes on for like a couple of hours, by the end of it, my eyes are like bleeding.
Well, luckily,
like, I don't know if I just blink less when I talk. I don't know what's going on.
Luckily, all the PCP episodes are around an hour long, so obviously this doesn't affect you too often.
Yeah, they all managed to maintain a decent length. It's usually the Let's Plays that really kill me, but yeah, so I don't know if my eyes will bleed out first, or my throat will just go coarse, and I won't even be able to speak anymore, or if just being awake and drunk so often will, rot me to death. But that's how I'm dying. What are you doing to kill yourself?
Well, this week I found a new reason to commit suicide. A new reason to commit a slow-motion suicide. Let me tell you the story. I've got this good friend online who I like to call Digibro. And this this motherfucker, he's
good
like...
Good friend is an interesting phrasing.
He's a good something. But that son of a bitch, he's like, you know what? I've had enough being rich. I want to get super rich. I'm going to change my Patreon from per video to monthly. And what do you know? This son of a bitch anime reviewer who does nothing but record 30 podcasts a day. Oh man, what hard work that must be. He's now raking in $4,000 per month for doing nothing. This son of a bitch. So to see some lowly, faggoty, neckbeard faggot raking in $4,000 a month for talking about anime and recording a podcast about internet debates and shit, it disgusts me to know that person could be successful in this life, and I don't want to be on this planet anymore. My suicide just went... It might be in slow motion, but it just picked up speed a little bit, because I don't want to be on the same planet as this person.
Well, I'm sorry, Monkey.
Yeah.
but unfortunately, you can't do this show without me.
I think the only way to remedy this will be if you send 500 of those Patreon bucks into the Monkey Jones Patreon. I think that's fair.
That's possible. Maybe. if my Patreon gets big enough, if everyone give me enough money that I can give Monkey money.
How about this?
Key.
Next time I win one of these shows, your boozer loser thing, everybody vote for me. If you all vote for me, I'll give the whole audience a percentage of the $500 that Digi sends to me for winning. It's like a lottery.
Since you brought it up, how little effort it takes to do a bunch of podcasts, sure. I just want to mention how a lot of our listeners probably watch The Dick Show or The Biggest Problem in the Universe because we rip it off and talk about it all the time.
Oh, we don't rip it off.
You may know Asterios Kokonos, who has a Patreon, a pretty big Patreon.
Yeah. And
he had as his patron goal, like if he made $1,000 a month, he would start up a weekly podcast. And as he described it in the goal, it was like, doing a weekly podcast, as you know, is practically a full-time job. So I really have to hit this amount before I could afford to do it. And I'm like, bitch, I have 6. Yeah. You tell me about a full-time fucking job.
Have you heard his podcast that he started?
Not yet.
It's just a straight-up ripoff of At Midnight with Chris Hardwick. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one more comment I wanted to read. I completely forgot to when we were doing the who won and who lost. From Super Generic Guy. He says, pro tip, Digi. If you want to kill yourself by sticking your penis in a wall socket, that is possible. However, in order for that to occur, you would have to have your body in a weird contortion relative to the floor, because the current flowing out of the outlet is always trying to reach the ground state. In this case, the ground in the shortest possible route. If your heart or high traffic nervous system areas, i.e. spine and head, run through that route, then it would kill you. Otherwise, you would survive. He goes on. Yeah, point is, you can kill yourself by sticking your dick in an outlet.
Yeah, but it's really hard. That's why Great White Shark won, because yours was just stupid.
Yeah, it's so easy to get into get into contact with a great white shark.
It's much easier to find a great white shark than it is to find an electrical hole. It's just a fact.
All right, you want to move on to the arguments?
Oh, you know I do. We got 4 good ones this week. No more dick talk.
Hey, dick talk was great.
Yeah, it was great for that guy's appetite who was trying to eat lunch as he listened to your weird bathroom, your piss-covered bathroom and your phimosis famunda cheese bullshit.
Yeah. Delicious.
All right, the first debate, or the first argument, I should say, don't want to get trademark hit, is it comes from Kenneth Crayley, who wants to know, do vaccines cause autism? Do vaccines cause autism? I'll let you go first, Digi.
Shout out to Kenneth Crayley, very long time listener of me.
Oh shit, he must have shit taste.
Also you, yeah. Vaccines do cause autism.
Okay,
and I have proof because
were you vaccinated as a child?
I was.
Yeah,
but I have better proof. I have a cousin who is severely autistic, like to the point that it's not easy to be around him. Let's put it that way. He makes bronies look personable. So his mom would always rant on and on about the fact that he got this because of the injections that they gave him as a kid. Because he was vaccinated, he got autism, and she would ramble about this for hours to anyone who would listen. So I know it must be true.
That makes sense.
Now, there was a time where the guy who first said that vaccines cause autism, the guy who did that study, who promoted the idea all over the world, came on, was outed as having been a huge fake. Apparently, all of his studies were not actually tested. He had his license revoked as a science man. His diploma was taken away. He doesn't get to practice science anymore. However, and I was almost convinced that vaccines don't cause autism because of this from TV, but then my aunt heard about it, and I told her, and she said...
Did she write about something on Facebook?
She said that's just a cover-up.
Oh, okay.
No, she was living with me at the time, so I heard it from her directly.
I figured if it was your aunt talking about vaccines, she probably posted it on Facebook.
No, I lived with this aunt several times for months and heard about this in person, very loudly. Very, very loud woman.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sounds
so
like
apparently it was a cover-up. I believe it. She knows better than I do. I don't have an autistic son. What do I know about vaccines and autism?
Okay, I think you're onto something, Digi, but you're missing a step, and this is the crux of the argument. Vaccines do not cause autism. They're just another link in the chain. Because I've done some research studies into the MLP, the My Little Pony community. Have you heard of them before?
I'm familiar.
So I've interviewed a lot of these people, and they're all autistic. And it turns out they all were vaccinated as babies. So what I think, this is how, the chain of disease goes. The vaccines cause an addiction to My Little Pony, and anybody who watches My Little Pony automatically becomes autistic. So the vaccines aren't causing the autism. They're causing the addiction to the show that causes the autism. It's just a link in the chain. It's not a direct correlation.
Monkey, there is some credence to your argument, because we started vaccinating before we started noticing, all the autism going around. And I'd say that autism really became, in the public eye, the public spectacle.
When My Little Pony came out.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. So the time frames line up, but I think you're forgetting a lot of extra details. Because it's not just My Little Pony fans who are severely autistic. You've also got Sonic the Hedgehog fans, Thomas the Tank Engine fans. Where do all these people fall in?
I think it's It's one of those things where, you can be a fan of Sonic without being autistic, but if you like My Little Pony, you're automatically.
Point me to one fan of Sonic the Hedgehog who is not autistic and is above the age of 10.
Christian Western Chandler.
I have bad news for you, Mumkey.
What? Wait. You got some bad news about Chris Chan? What happened to her?
Chris Chan indeed is extremely autistic.
No.
Yes.
What?
They finally tested and proved it.
Shit.
Yeah. She's got the tism all up and down.
God damn it. That's fucked.
The East Coast. I know. I live in Virginia, which is where Chris Chan's from. So I have all the down low, all the deep web details about Chris Chan.
So does the argument come down to you think that vaccines directly cause autism, whereas I think vaccines lead to My Little Pony, which leads to autism? Is that the difference here?
Yes, I guess we'll say that I think vaccines immediately cause autism the second that they are injected into you. They're basically just giving you autism. Okay. Like, the other benefits of the vaccine are negligible in comparison to the autism that will run rampant through your system.
Okay, well, I guess I would argue that, plenty of... I mean, you didn't get diagnosed with autism until you were above the age of 10 when you started liking My Little Pony. So it's not like we have, toddlers crawling around with autism. They don't get it until they see the My Little Pony, which doesn't happen until later in life.
I don't know, Mumkey. I think there's probably a lot of autistic people who saw Sonic the Hedgehog and that was their trigger. I don't think you have to see MLP.
Digi, I saw your first YouTube channel that you did with your brothers, and you definitely were not autistic in those videos.
Which one? Puddle Soul Productions?
Yep, I'll post the link in the description. You can judge for yourself.
That's gonna be a hard argument for you to win, Mumkey.
Seemed like a perfectly normal kid.
All right. Well, I'll move on to the next. Let's move on to the next.
We better, because that one was terrible.
Yeah. I don't have the spark to argue about vaccinations. Is anime just for weebs?
Good question.
Monkey, what do you think? We're both anime reviewers. We're both very famous anime reviewers.
True.
We've staked a lot of our career on being connoisseurs. You've got the goal of reviewing all anime. I've got the goal of also reviewing all anime.
And we're such prolific anime reviewers that if you add our Patreons together, we're making $4,500 a month to review anime. That's amazing. Yeah. That's crazy.
So do you think anime is just for weebs?
No, of course not. Of course it's not just for weebs.
Why do you think so?
I mean, think about all the popular animes that are out there. You got like Dragon Ball Z, Cory in the House, That's So Raven. These are, the top 3 most popular animes of all time, and they're loved by jocks in your high school. They're loved by blacks. 2 groups which cannot be weebs, blacks and jocks, but they love shit like Dragon Ball Z and Cory in the House. You can't go through high school without seeing, the football players all wearing their Cory in the House t-shirts. They love that shit, and they're not weebs. So clearly some animes are popular enough that they can break through the conditioning and be entertaining for all groups of people, weebs or not, jocks, blacks, whites, weebs, Asians, digis. It works out. So clearly, anime isn't just for weebs.
Here's why I think you're wrong. Okay, first of all, let me bring up the Urban Dictionary definition of weeaboo.
Okay.
A weeaboo is a non-Japanese person who basically denounces their own culture and calls themselves Japanese. They try to learn Japanese through anime they watch and usually end up pronouncing it wrong and looking like a complete idiot. Keep in mind that a non-Japanese person can like the culture, watch anime, speak the language, and respect the culture while still keeping in touch with their own. Even this is wrong. Look, a weeaboo...
Why'd you pull up the definition if you disagree with it?
Well, I hadn't read it beforehand. A weeaboo is someone
You fucked yourself.
A weeaboo is a non-Japanese person who is obsessed with anime.
Okay.
That's all that really matters out of that definition.
Okay.
Now, if you are non-Japanese and you love anime, then that's it. You're a weeaboo. So anybody outside Japan who likes anime is a weeaboo. So the question, is anime just for weebs, means, is anime actually, in fact, for the Japanese at all? Or is it just for everyone else in the world? Is it just for weeaboos, i.e. non-Japanese? And I think the answer is yes, because as we've seen, not only do animators in Japan get paid almost nothing to do their jobs, they make below minimum wage, they basically are slaves, they kill themselves constantly or literally just die from overwork. Everyone working in the industry is treated like absolute dog shit, and none of their shows can sell well enough to actually draw a profit. Most of these shows, they just crash and burn. The only shows that are actually successful enough that they can, propagate the fucking existence of more anime to keep their studios funded enough to go on is the stuff that becomes popular outside of Japan. So I think that anime is really not for the Japanese at all. They can't fund the shit. They treat their animators like dog shit, and the only time that any of them get respect is when they make it out onto the world stage. So yes, I think anime is just for weebs.
No.
And also that all those jocks and blacks are weebs. They all have Naruto posters in their rooms.
I'll tear down both parts of your argument. First of all, I don't know if you've ever been to Japan, did you? But I've visited quite frequently. I go to Japan at least 3 times a year. And those fuckers in Tokyo are obsessed with anime. They're Japanese, and they love it. You can't walk down the street without seeing, a big old Naruto poster up on the wall. Every billboard is, full of naked anime girls. The Japs, they fucking love their anime. They live by it. They breathe by it. They get their seizures by watching Pokemon on a Saturday morning.
See, you're misunderstanding why they're doing all that, Monkey.
Because they're Japanese and they love it.
It's just posturing. They just want to be like the rest of the world.
Not true.
They want to be like America. Look, Japan, ever since 1944, when we bombed the living shit out of Japan with the nuclear bombs, and they realized that they were fucking everything up, that they were on the wrong side of history, everybody hated them, and they said, what do we do? How do we become big boy? And so they looked at America, which was big boy, and they said, let's do everything they do. And so they copied all of our culture, all of our industry. They basically just became a clone of America. And so when they started making cartoons and America loved them, then Japan said, well, fuck, we think these cartoons are dog shit, but if America loves them, we have to celebrate them so that we can be more like America.
I don't think you're right, because as you'll remember, the great philosopher, the social, equivalator, Mr. John Tron, he pointed out in his great debate that he was so articulate in that the Japanese are an extremely racist country who don't like outsiders, they don't like white people, they don't want to be infested by non-Japanese people. So it doesn't make sense to me that they would look to America, this country full of whites and blacks and all that, they look up to them and try to be like them. That doesn't make any sense.
Have you heard of the word tsundere?
No, I'm not a weeb.
Okay, so tsundere is a type of person who acts like they hate you when they really love you, because they're so shy and guarded with their emotions that they can't just admit that they're in love with you, so they always act like a total bitch. So even though Japan has, if you look at them, which just like with tsundere, if you're watching an anime with the tsundere, you can immediately tell that she's in love with the main character. It's just him who can't tell, and her who won't admit it. If you look at Japan, you can immediately tell that they are in love with America. They copy all of our shit. They have all our food. They have all of our restaurants, all of our products. Half of their fucking words are English. They have a whole alphabet that exists just to import English words from America. They are basically just baby America, and they look up to us, but they won't admit it because they don't want to disclose their feelings, which is why they created the tsundere in the first place, why it's such a popular character archetype in anime, because it's exactly what their entire country is.
So if they're just trying to copy every element of our society, how do you explain something like those panty vending machines? A great invention. I'll give you that. I wish we had them here in America. I wish we had them here in the States. I wish I could go outside, go down to 7-Eleven, pop in a quarter and get some soiled used panties to sniff all night long. But we don't have that. That's an exclusive of Japan.
Monkey,
how are they copying our culture if they have things that are completely different?
I'm surprised, Monkey, that you don't understand this as an anime analyst.
Anime connoisseur.
Yeah, well, I'm an analyst, so maybe that's the difference.
I'm a connoisseur.
I can look deeper, Monkey. You see, oftentimes, the people who create a show will not even fully understand what they've created. Someone like Hideaki Anno, who will say that Evangelion, elements of it have no meaning at all, and then other people will watch
I would
and say,
argue none of it has any meaning.
Well, other people will look at it and say, "Oh no, but there's this stuff that clearly indicates meaning in here. You just don't seem to understand it." Ergo, I think that there's a lot of stuff about America that we don't even get ourselves. We haven't fully realized or appreciated our own obsession because we're looking at ourselves from the inside. We don't really see, what's like what we are performing to the outside world. Japan looks at us and they see a nation obsessed with panties who doesn't seem to recognize it somehow. So they've gone ahead and said, well, we understand what's at the core of their thoughts. We can imitate that and maybe we can become an even better America than America.
That's the dream, a better American than America. I think when Donald Trump said he wants to make America great again, what he really meant was to put panty vending machines on every street corner. And I think he's working on that right now. Man,
Trump just gets better every day.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
Ivanka's tits, they're getting bigger every day. I've been paying attention.
Yeah.
Now,
good times.
Let me counter your other argument that, the jocks in my high school and the black kids were somehow weeaboos. Now, what you're failing to understand is that they don't know that they're watching anime. When I was a kid and I watched Cory in the House, I had no idea this was a Japanese anime. I thought it was an American cartoon. So how can you be a weeaboo, a fan of anime, a fan of Japanese culture, if you think you're watching an American cartoon that just happened to be dubbed from a different country?
Monkey, you ever seen that Dave Chappelle skit where there's the black guy who joins the KKK because he's blind?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite animes.
So, if you're blind and you don't realize that you're black, does that mean you're not black?
I mean, in your mind, you're not black, so I think that counts.
In your mind, you're not black.
Yeah.
But everyone else knows you're black. They all think you're black. So, who's right? Is it the blind man, or everyone else who knows the truth?
Well, if I don't think I'm a fan of Japanese anime, then I think by definition I'm not a fan of Japanese anime.
What if everything you do is indicative of the textbook definition of fan of Japanese anime? You just won't admit it yourself.
Does that make it true? Let me draw you a perfect parallel. Now, let's say everybody thinks you're a racist except for you. Like Donald Trump, He can easily say, I can't be a racist, I have a black friend. I can't be a racist, I have black supporters. And he's absolutely right. Are you telling me Donald Trump is a racist even though he himself knows that he's not? That's ridiculous.
I think that there's a difference here, and we've opened up a whole other avenue to explore, between what people perceive and what is true. The black guy who's blind, he objectively is black. He doesn't know it. Everyone else knows it. However, what if everyone only ever encountered this guy through text? Ergo, nobody actually saw that he was black, and all he does is go on KKK rants all day long. Then all those people who are reading that assume that he's a white supremacist white person. But they are still objectively wrong, because he is black, as anyone who actually sees him can attest to. So, while Trump is clearly not racist. No. Everyone thinks he's racist because they're only seeing a small window of who he is as opposed to the full man. But if they saw the full man, they would know that he's not racist. Doesn't matter what he thinks of himself. What really matters is the truth. And I think objectively, those fucking jocks were weebs. They might not have known it. Nobody else might have known it. But if you actually watched them throughout their day, they watched fucking Naruto. They're a bunch of weeaboos.
No, they didn't watch Naruto. They watched Dragon Ball Z and Cory in the House.
Still extremely weeby.
Are you
shows.
telling me that the big football players in my high school who wore Corey Baxter t-shirts were weeaboos?
Can you imagine anybody having ever watched Cory in the House and not being a huge anime nerd?
You know what? I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Cool. Are we done with this argument? Do you have more to back up your side? I feel like I've done most of the talking.
I think I've provided 110% evidence on this one. I think I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, well, we should probably cut the first argument entirely and start with that one.
Nope. We're keeping it, baby. We need that full hour. Let's move on.
Turn.
God, we got another argument about Japanese culture. Here we go. Which Korea is better, North or South?
Do you want to start us off?
Okay, this one's easy. North Korea is way better, and let me tell you why. South Korea ain't got shit going for it. They got K-pop, fuck off. We don't need that shit. If I want to see a bunch of...
They got Psy.
Oh, yeah. Gangnam Style, my favorite music video. You know what? North Korea has much better music videos. It's called The Imperial March. Much better.
I thought Psy was like your favorite YouTuber.
I mean,
you've got a whole podcast with him.
Me and Psy do a podcast together, but if you listen to it, which I know you don't, it's just me shitting on him and telling him why he's a fat retard, and that, you know, dancing like as if you're riding a horse is not a good dance. Here's why North Korea is better. Because North Korea has the military might, they've got the missiles, they've got the nuclear bombs, and of course, they've got the greatest leader on the face of the planet Earth, Kim Jong-un, and second best leader of all time is Kim Jong-il, his father. Have you ever seen the movie The Interview?
Not yet. I should watch it.
So The Interview is probably one of the greatest comedies ever made, because the joke is that North Korea is a hellhole piece of shit, which is really funny because, as we all know, North Korea is one of the greatest countries on earth. All the citizens are treated equally. They're all given plenty of food. They don't work in labor camps. They do whatever they want to do, because it's the freest country. So the reason
racially pure, nobody can get in or out. So.
Exactly. Nobody's allowed.
Which
in
means
or out.
Lots of incest. Just saying.
Sure. I mean, that's all of Asia.
I don't know why I'm
really.
helping your cause, but
I don't know. So the reason why the movie The Interview was so funny is because it portrayed this great country as being a piece of shit, and I think nothing is funnier than, you know, portraying something in the opposite way of what it actually is, and that's why I think North Korea is better than South Korea.
Well. That's a good argument. I think what you're missing from South Korea is that the women are all unfathomably beautiful. Have you ever participated in... I want everybody here, I want you to go to 4chan and go to the music board. And at any given time, there will be a thread called K-Pop General that runs at all times, and it's all just people posting pictures of hot Korean chicks, and they are all unbelievably attractive. And the way they get that way is that this country is like dedicated to producing drop dead sexy women. Like they like genetically manipulate these people. Like they like form like relationships between attractive people to produce more attractive people. Then they put them on extremely strict dieting and exercise regimens. They basically torture them throughout their teen years so that by the time they're 18, they will have the most perfect imaginable body so that they can become a K-pop superstar. And all of them are they're just forwardly sexual. Like, if you can imagine the way that girl groups were in the late 90s, or like, you know, when music started getting more sexy, they started putting out like all this pop music where everyone had big asses and they were popping them all the time. That's Korea takes it to the next level. It's all just people shoving their ass in everyone else's face and being hot and sexy. I gotta say, like, if you want an instant boner, just Google K-pop and look at anything. Or watch the fucking Psy video. What's it called?
You think that the girls in South Korea are hot?
Oh, God. Why'd you ask me a question when I was taking a drink?
Sorry. We're in the same room, so clearly I knew what you were doing.
You were talking, so how could you not know I was drinking?
Did you?
What do you think I do when you talk?
You think the women in South Korea are hot?
The women in North Korea, I wouldn't know because nobody's seen them.
The women in North Korea are bone thin. It doesn't get any hotter than that. They're like spooky skeletons up there. You want a skinny girl? You go to North Korea. It doesn't get hotter than that.
I mean, I am into super skinny, bone skinny skeleton girls. So
yeah. How can you argue with that?
That's a tempting point, Mumkey, but I think if you look at enough K-pop singers, you'll be like, book me a flight. I've also heard my parents went to South Korea once because my dad...
Oh, they didn't go to North Korea?
No.
Oh, they missed out.
They tried, but they got shot down.
That's what they get for being white.
My parents are dead because of that incident.
Oh, shit.
This was,
Lucky
5 years ago. I'm over it. Yeah, exactly. So, but the first they were in South Korea, and they were like taking pictures of stuff, and they said that people will just like shy away from cameras. Like if they see you pull out a camera, they'll like run away because they think it'll take their souls. So the best part about Korean chicks is that they're fucking retarded. So they're really easy to bang. They're unbelievably hot and completely stupid. And in pretty much everywhere in Southeast Asia, I learned this from my time in the Philippines. Asian women are obsessed with the idea of having half-white babies. Like, they think that half-white, half-Asian babies are, like, the most beautiful. So, basically, if
like
you're
Elliot
a white
Rodger,
guy...
most beautiful boy there ever lived.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, if you're a white guy and you go to any Asian country, you basically get free pussy all day because they all want to have your half-white baby.
Oh, so you think the women in South Korea are promiscuous? Digi, the women in North Korea are so hungry they will literally eat your dick.
I don't want them to eat my dick.
It's just a metaphor. That means they want to, slobber that shit up and swallow that cum, baby. There you go.
A lot of protein. So.
A lot of protein. They need it.
Yeah. I think we've both put up good arguments today, Bubky.
I kind of want to go on
really going to be either way.
We should go on a dual vacation. I want to visit both of these right now. They both sound like paradise on earth.
We should make a whole to-do of it and find out for sure,
I'm not kidding. I will start a Kickstarter. Send Mumkey and Digibro to North Korea, and I'll post it in the comments or in the description of this video. Do you want me to? I'll do it.
Wait, what? I wasn't paying attention.
I'm going to start a Kickstarter that says, send Mumkey and Digibro to North Korea.
How much money do we need for that?
I'll put it at $5,000 and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
If we hit the goal, we have to go. I think that's the rules of Kickstarter. We have to go to North Korea. Now, these get about...
I don't know. I don't know. I had a successful Kickstarter, and I haven't produced any product from it yet, so it's it's apparently quite possible.
Well, hey, all I'm saying is these get about 7,000 views each. So if each one of you throws in a buck, me and Digibro will go to North Korea.
But you really think that the audience of this podcast can throw in a buck? We gave them that opportunity, and all they did was cry about how poor they were.
Yeah, but that's because it was offering them more of this podcast. If they send us to North Korea, they don't have to listen to this ever again.
Yeah, we're just going to literally get shot, so...
All right.
It's great for us.
We just brought up Elliot Rodger, so I think we should move on to the final argument of the night.
Yeah.
Did Elliot Rodger do anything wrong?
Now, Mumkey, I'm very curious to hear your opinion on this, because you are probably the world's foremost expert on Elliot Rodger.
Unironically, I probably am. I'm the only one who seems to still care about this kid from 3 years ago.
Was it only that long ago?
It is, 2014.
Huh.
And the reason why I put this on the list is because on the Mumkey channel, where you're currently listening to this, it is the month of retribution, where I'm taking looks at all these school shootings and Elliot Rodger related media, so that's why I wanted to do this one this week. You want me to go first then with my answer?
Yeah, I'm more interested in what you have to say.
All right, guys, it might seem like an unpopular opinion, but hear me out. Yes, Elliot Rodger did do something wrong.
No.
He didn't kill enough people. He's such a pure
boy.
He didn't get enough. He only killed 6 people. He could have got so many more.
I think you're putting too much weight on Elliot Rodger's shoulders.
Here's his big mistake. He wanted to shoot up a sorority house, kill all the women inside, and then burn it to the ground. But the big flaw in his plan was that when he showed up, the door was locked, and he had already sent his manifesto to the news and to the PD, the local police, and all this shit. So he's just fucked. So I think his mistake was
Couldn't
not...
he have shot the lock off the door?
Yeah, that was his mistake. Shoot off the lock, shoot through the window to get in, do literally anything to get in the building, Instead of just running away and shooting randomly into a deli and shit. His big mistake was not, burning down that sorority house like he planned in his manifesto and killing those 120 blonde sluts who would have rejected him given the chance.
Now look, Monkey, I agree with you that we would live in a better world if Elliot Rodger had succeeded at, destroying the sorority.
Yeah.
But can we say it was his fault?
Yes. I
think Elliot Rodger, as you stated in your Elliot Rodger good or bad video.
Sure.
I assume that's what it was called.
Yep.
I actually can't remember. Monkey's anime reviews, Elliot Rodger.
Yeah.
Elliot Rodger, the man, the myth, the legend. Elliot Rodger, behind the music.
Yep.
Elliot Rodger, not good, as would be the Needle Drops review of it.
Oh, fuck off, Needle Drop.
Yeah. Elliot Rodger, as you stated, the reason he committed this atrocity is because of society.
Whoa. Atrocity? Time out. What do you mean by atrocity? This was a heroic act that was cut short by a locked door.
I'm using the media terminology here.
Well, that's fake news. Please don't bring that onto my podcast.
It's categorized as atrocity. We all know the truth. We know that atrocity is just a code word that the government uses to describe a heroic, sacrifice.
Yeah.
Anyways, the reason that
like
Elliot
9/11
Rodger went on this tirade is because of all the things that 9/11, which was part of the
that
Five
was a
Guys.
Delayed response.
It was part of the Five Guys trying to get back on top with the Jews.
I think you won that argument, so you're right. It was the Five Guys.
Right, because the Jews who used the Holocaust to build all that sympathy for them so that they could take over. The Five Guys then said, well, shit, we can just duplicate their success and have our own tragedy with 9/11, which is why the Five Guys have any foothold at all now. Like, they were really in fucking dire straits. But once us 9/11 truthers, wised up to what was going on there, we went, oh, you sneaky fuckers, you're on the way back. And so we rallied our troops and we got, bought our burgers and... saluted the fucking American flag.
I think I've heard enough about Five Guys.
Too.
I don't need to hear about Five Guys ever again for the rest of my life.
As you talked about in Elliot Rodger's an objective review, Elliot Rodger was... I've quickly gotten drunk.
Yeah.
We've been recording for 45 minutes and I'm already fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Elliot Rodger did the things he did because of society, because his father didn't understand him, because people treated him wrong, the media nobody looked into him. He was arrested by the police and they didn't even fucking ask him any questions. So can we really say that anything he did was his fault?
Yeah,
the fact
he
that Elliot
didn't
Rodger
kill enough
was
people.
The fact that, but the reason he didn't kill enough people is because he's a fucking retard.
No, he's a man of aspirations. If you would read the manifesto, you fucking fake fan, you would know that he had pages and pages of detailed notes of how he would carry this out, and then he was stopped by a locked door. He should have known better.
But the reason he knew he didn't know what to do because he just didn't have the right, training from society. People didn't teach him that locks can be defeated. He just never learned anything from anyone. Everything failed him. The school system failed to teach him that, locks can be brute forced with relative ease, So, can you really say that he didn't get it or that society didn't give him the information he needed?
I would still put the blame on him, because he knew that glass could be broken, because he shot through the window of a deli to kill some random guy. So he knew he could shoot his bullets through glass. He didn't have the insight to actually try it.
And he shot that
target.
guy before or after the sorority?
The sorority wouldn't open, so he drove away in his BMW and started shooting randomly through restaurants and delis and just random shit.
I'm just not sure we can ever really hold somebody accountable for anything. Because what is a man but the amalgam of all that he has learned, that we have taught him, Well,
one of the major parts of his manifesto is that he hated the movie Alpha Dog, and I specifically remember in that film there is a scene where somebody breaks a lock.
Alpha? What the fuck is Alpha Dog?
It's about this teenager who has a lot of sex, and it made Elliot really uncomfortable and mad.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a dog movie. And I was like, why was he so mad at a dog movie?
No, you're thinking of Cop Dog.
Yeah. Or something.
That movie also
thereabouts.
pissed him off because the girl was chewing a lot of gum, and he didn't want to see a girl with something in her mouth.
Did he really also have a part about Cop Dog?
Oh, dude, yeah, you got to read that. You thought the Mr. Plinkett review was bad, man. Elliot hated Cop Dog.
So he dedicated a whole section to Alpha Dog.
Dude,
and
the manifesto is 140 pages. 10 of those pages are about Alpha Dog or Cop Dog.
So how did it in the movie it happen with the lock?
So in the movie Alpha Dog, the Alpha Dog character had a gun and he was trying to get into a sorority and he couldn't, so he shot off the lock. You would think Elliot would have picked up on that, but I guess he missed it.
Considering his obsession with the movie. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. He made a huge mistake. That was a huge oversight.
I can only blame society so far. I don't know. It's really going to come down to the audience members. Do you think that we can ever really blame anybody for what they've done when we are the ones who caused it? Or do you think that there has to be some level of personal responsibility for understanding how locks work when you've literally watched a movie that instructs you on how to do it?
But I think we can both agree, other than not killing enough people, Elliot did not do anything wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Elliot did nothing wrong.
He was
in my opinion, he did nothing wrong. You think he... I mean, he should have killed more people. I just don't think he did it wrong.
Okay.
We did it wrong. It's our fault.
All right. I think we can leave this one up to the fans.
Okay. Oh, shit. We forgot that we're supposed to now, like, write down what our stances were for the polls. Because it's supposed to be based on the stance, not on the person.
Yeah, I'll when I go through it, I'll pick them out and I'll send it to you to make sure you agree with them before I put it up.
Okay.
Anyway, we have to move on because last week something big happened. You announced your slow motion suicide was you wanted to start a beef with some guy named XXX Tentacon.
XXX Temptation, yes.
Now we had a lot of comments pointing out.
Temptation or something.
So, we got a million comments like this, but here's one from the DJ Eon who says, XXX what'd you say his name was?
XXX Temptation, or Temptation or something.
XXX Temptation was released from jail about a month ago, I believe for the second time.
Yeah.
Beefing with him would qualify as suicide. Digi, you started a beef with this guy who you thought was in jail, but he's actually free.
I mean, I gotta get my beef going, man. I haven't started the beef yet. He doesn't know about me.
Actually, Digi, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because he actually left a voicemail. I just sent it to you.
Oh my god, for real?
Yeah.
All
the
right,
guy, he actually listened to the podcast and he sent in a response.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Let's see. I am ready. I'm gonna play in 3, 2, 1, go. A lot of fan noise.
Hey Digi, I'm Black and I'm your rival, and today I'm calling into the show to say I can rap better than you can. Here's my rap. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Nigga, 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 nigga. I'm black, you're white, you stupid bitch. Why would you do that? Why would you be white, bitch? Fuck you. Your foreskin's so long, Digi bro. Fuck. I'm black also. Did you know? I'm your rival, your rap rival. I don't have any music yet, but I'm working on it. Asshole, get out of my household.
Hey.
Alright, that was
actually a really good rhyme at the end. Asshole with household. That was creative. It sounded awfully British.
No, I don't think so. I think it was him.
For a Florida rapper, who I specifically criticized for the fact that he sounds like a 15-year-old and has a high-pitched voice.
That sounded pretty deep to me.
Yeah, his balls must have dropped in the last week or so.
Yeah, now I'm kind of worried because you started this beef, and here I thought he was in prison, so I said that the whole podcast would start a beef with him. But now that he's free and he's clearly heard the show, I'm kind of fearing for my life. I hope I don't become a pregnant woman because then he might punch me in the face.
Have you seen what that guy looks like?
No idea.
You should Google him right now. XXX Temptation.
Okay.
And tell me if you're still afraid. He's got a very famous mugshot.
Oh, okay. Is he? I see an edit.
Did you almost ask, is he black? Yes, he's black.
I was gonna ask if he's all muscly because all I see is his head and his hair looks like when I have like Indian food diarrhea.
Yeah, he's got a.
But I saw there's an edit of him with the that barber or the dentist who says just fuck my shit when he goes to the barbershop. They gave him that hairstyle. There's a cartoon of him as an Akatsuki member in Naruto.
Yeah, that looks way too real.
Wow, I can't believe this guy is a listener of the show and he left us a voicemail. I'm kind of scared that he's gonna beat us up or something.
Yeah, he's got the weirdest assortment of tattoos.
We've got another voicemail. I don't know if I'll send it to you again.
Yeah, I was about to click on it, but sure. All right. Count of 3, we'll hit play. 1, 2, 3, go.
Hello, Dumpkey Jones and Digi-Ho. I am calling to tell you that I am a woman. I am also your number one fan because women are the number one species of human on Earth. That's right.
Hey.
I am a woman. My name is Amy Schumer, and this is my favorite podcast on the Interzone. I am calling you a little bit late because I was busy sucking my boyfriend's cock. Because I am a woman, and women's are allowed to have sex. My boyfriend and I like to listen to this podcast when he drives his man-stalk into the PCP. That's what I call my vagina. It stands for the Pussy Cum Partnership. It's a funny joke because I am a woman, and I have sex with men. If you want to have sex with a fine woman like me, please call my agency at 1-800-273-8255, and I will contact you in a year or so.
Full number.
Because as a woman, I am always late for things because I'm filleting so many cocks. It is my job and duty as a proud woman. Thank you for receiving my call. I am Amy Schumer, a real woman.
I always knew Amy Schumer had a great sense of humor, so no wonder why she's listening to this show.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't realize we had such a big star as Amy Schumer. I mean, we've had like Kermit the Frog and Bernie Sanders. We have a lot of political listeners, but that's the first time we've had
political like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, you know, he talks about real shit like racism. It's not easy being green. What the fuck you think that's about, you know?
It's not easy having a green card. You gotta work for it.
Yeah, exactly. Amy Schumer, though.
Very funny.
First, can we say it's the first fat bitch caller to the show?
I mean, you're technically calling in right now on Discord, so...
Well, that's fair.
I think that's all the voicemails we had this week. I guess after the dick episode, nobody could speak.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't... Maybe that's why she didn't talk as much about her vagina as I'm used to.
Yeah, she only brought it up like 10 times in that minute voicemail.
Yeah, that's not nearly as much as No. Usually when Amy Schumer introduces herself, I met her at a party once, and she said, like, "Hi, I'm Amy Vagina Schumer. Here's my vagina." Then she opened her vagina, and it just, like, this rancid scent just, like, exploded throughout the entire place, and everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Ha ha, smelly vagina." And we were all like, "Oh, that's hilarious. Your vagina smells terrible."
Yep.
And it was a fucking great time.
Did you see her Netflix special called The Leather Special?
Momke, do you think I would watch an Amy Schumer comedy special?
Yeah, I know you did.
I can't even sit through her appearances on television on any show. I'll change the channel.
This is kind of off topic, but she was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which I think we might have to debate about him next week because he's kind of under fire for his homophobic comments.
Yes, under fire from, that's for another time.
But Amy Schumer was a guest, and they threw up the YouTube
under
clip.
fire from people who don't give a fuck whether what he said was homophobic or not.
But Amy Schumer was on the show, and they threw up a YouTube clip of him interviewing her, and of course, the dislike ratio was way up there, which I thought was really funny. Anything with Amy Schumer gets automatic hate, which I appreciate.
What is the deal with her new Netflix special? Because I've been hearing that it was like some kind of massive train wreck or something. Like,
It's
is
funny
it
that you
just
say
not
that,
funny,
'cause
or is it like outright like badly produced?
She just had a movie called Trainwreck, which I think kind of is evident of her whole career. But evidently the Leather Special was just straight up, every single thing was about how she likes to suck dick and about her vagina, like every single line, and how she's fat. That's the extent of her comedy.
I was having a conversation with my mom about this the other day because there was a
you
commercial.
You and your mom are big
whatever.
fans of Amy Schumer.
No, there was a commercial for her new movie coming up, and I asked my mom, "Do you think?" And this is a question for the audience too. I want to hear your stances on this. Do you think that Amy Schumer is deliberately staying fat because it's her image.
Of course, she's fat and dangerous.
Like, she's so known for being like she's built her identity around this idea that she's like, I mean, you know, she's the whole point is that she's like, oh, I'm not really obese, like I'm not unhealthily fat, I'm just, you know, but at the same time you have to think this woman has every opportunity if she wants to try to lose weight. But and I'm sure, like, I don't know, for me personally, yeah, I can tell you all day I'm not that fat. Doesn't mean I want to be as fat as I am. No one wants to be fatter than skinny. You know, we all want to be skinny. On some level, she has to want to not be so fat.
Yeah.
You know, so is she maintaining being fat because she's built her entire empire around the idea that being fat is okay? What do you think?
I don't even think it's a question. I think absolutely she is, because she thinks being a fat female comedian is somehow empowering to all the fat white girls out there who someday dream of going up on stage in front of thousands of people and talking about their vaginas.
Yeah. I think so too. I think that's the empire she's built.
Yeah.
And bringing that up brought us over an hour, so thank God.
Yeah. I was hoping we'd find some way after those short, boring debates. Tune in next week, folks.
Only the first one was really bad.
At least we can acknowledge it in our drunken stupor.
Yeah.
And how do we end this now? You had a new catchphrase for the end of the show. What was it? Fuck my ass or something?
Oh yeah, suck my dick, fuck my ass.
There we go.
Monkey Jones is gonna break your bones. He knows what he's talking about. He got stats, you know. A homegrown stone cold balls out killer and a no doubt thriller living in the back of a distillery.
DGB going green, thinking about life and shit. He's got a big dick, plenty on his mind to spit. So don't doubt his legitimacy. When you see his post, don't think we share and retweet.